Hello, it's me again. I'm glad to be back. And I'd like to share with you a relatively simple concept today in legal business development. And that is about 3 different types of selling that we can do as lawyers to generate more revenues for our practice. First of all, we have upselling. Now, what is that? Upselling is when you make the client aware that there is a more premium solution available. And because it's more premium, of course, it costs more money. Upselling isn't simply a markup. A markup is when you have one product and you just increase the price by a percentage. A 10% increase in the price, that's a markup, and the product remains the same. A markup is the antonym of a discount. So upselling exists, and that is when you offer a more premium product or solution. The antonym of upselling is downselling, when you offer a more commodity product or solution to your client. Let's imagine a client comes to you and asks you to incorporate a limited liability company. You, of course, are not a good soldier. You don't simply do what you're asked to do by the client. You asked open questions and you identified, according to their needs, that in fact they would be better doing a PLC, a public limited company, and you could help them to do an IPO. You know, if you are going to be a lawyer helping a client do an IPO, it's going to be a much more premium solution and generate much more work than incorporating a limited liability company. That would be an upsell. The opposite exists, and as ethical lawyers, we can use that as well to downsell. The client might come to you and they have tears in their eyes and they're very, very distressed. And they say, oh, I have this huge dispute. I don't know what to do. And when you examine it and when you ask questions, you realize it's not as huge as they thought. In fact, it's quite a small, relatively easy problem to solve. Then you tell them, you know, this isn't going to cost you so much money like you think. It's going to be easier to solve. It'll be quicker. That's a downsell. Another point I'd like to share with you about downselling is if a client asks you for a discount, I really very strongly recommend not giving discounts at all. That's a very bad idea. How about you change a discount into a downsell? If the client says they only have a certain amount of budget for this task, you can perhaps limit the scope. You can extend the time period. You can offer a smaller, more limited solution that's going to cost less money. So don't simply agree to give a discount, especially a unilateral concession, which is a naked discount, where you give a discount in exchange for nothing. That's a catastrophic mistake. If you do have to give a discount, make sure you get some kind of consideration for it, an exchange of value. For example, a volume discount. But it would be better not to give a discount and change discount into a downsell. Then another type of selling that we can do as lawyers, and where there's a huge potential for the different law firms, is cross-selling. You can offer to an existing client other legal products and services. I'll tell you a little secret. From 70 countries where I've worked with law firms, from a few hundred legal practices, ranging from startups to boutiques to mid-size to internationals to the Big Four, none of them are good at cross-selling, and most of them are really pretty bad. Cross-selling is a huge opportunity. I could ask you a secret question, just between you and me. When was the last time you took the initiative to introduce one of your colleagues to an existing client? Well, if the answer is never, then that's something that you could do. And keep in mind, this is also in your interest, because if you introduce your colleagues to your client, then your colleagues should introduce you to their clients. And the more relationships that we have with our clients, with different lawyers and different practices, the higher we will be valued and the longer the relationship is going to be. So this is very important for client retention. And then the last type of selling, of course, is reselling. On a periodic basis, we can come back to the client and remind them that they need us and that there's something that we can help them with. I think certain practices are more likely to be possible to resell than others. Tax would be one of them. employment, corporate. So if you can come back to a client every 3 months, every 6 months, even every year, and repitch them and repropose something, then that's an example of reselling. So in legal business development, as we've already seen before, your current clients, the clients that you're already working with, these are the best source of more work, of more billable hours, of more mandates. These are the ones with whom you can deepen and broaden the relationships that you have. And how can you do this? You can upsell, you can cross-sell, and you can resell. And of course, there's nothing to prevent you from applying upselling, cross-selling, and reselling also to ex-clients as well. Okay, so I don't know if that was maybe too easy or too obvious. You could think for yourself, what are some of the upsell options that you can offer? What are some of the cross-sell options that you can offer? And then you do it. And the best way to do this wouldn't simply be by email, but get some meetings. So if you're going to do a cross-sell, bring the lawyer with you, bring your friend to a face-to-face meeting with the client. If you're going to suggest an upsell, invite the client for coffee and then tell them about this new possibility that comes to mind. Okay, so you can contact me if you have any questions or suggestions, jjmcveigh@nichidonia.com. If you like, subscribe on my YouTube channel. I'm putting new content there now every day. And of course, if you want to reach me on my socials, you can do that as well. I'd be happy to hear from you. Okay, thanks. Speak to you next time.